Welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy presents our PGA DFS breakdown for the 2017 Wyndham Championship. First and foremost, I'd love to give a shout out to Justin Thomas for winning the PGA Championship. Lord knows if I had played you, you would have shot 12 over in the first 18 holes and missed the cut, but nonetheless, congratulations anyway. All in all, it was a pretty solid week last week. If you read the article that I always post in here, we had 9 of 10 make the cut. The only one who didn't was Xander Schauffele. Had 4 top 13s, including 3 top 10s. Our 8th ranked player, Francesco Molinari, absolutely tore the course up. And he was very low owned. I don't think he was someone that a lot of people had on their radar. I do think we wanted to see better days out of Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau, Charlie Hoffman, Rory McIlroy. But all things considered, I'm not upset about last weekend. I did not have any Justin Thomas. That's honestly the thing that probably kept my lineups from moving full speed ahead. We are at a birdie fest this week, so that's always a plus. Sedgefield Country Club. Looking more at things like accuracy, scoring on par 4s, and approach game are things that I want to pay attention to. It's tough for me to figure out how I want to break our 4 favorite golfers down, but what our model favors as the 4 best fits here. I'm going to start with Kevin Kisner, 17-1 fantasy draft, 9,600 FanDuel, 11-3 on Draftkings. The price is up there. Despite what the statistics say, I'm not buying in on Kevin Kisner this week. I think he'll be a semi-popular play because of how he played last week, but it's worth noting that after the first 2 rounds, you really started to see that his game did not fit that course. His game does fit this course. The problem is, I just truly worry about the effects of coming off of such a deflating Sunday that saw him go from a share of the lead to tied for 7th, I believe he finished. I mean, that's tough. This isn't the first time he's had a tough finish at a major championship. This is a weak field. It's something he definitely could excel on. I do not want to undermine that at all. I just really do have some serious concerns. I mention him because he does pop out in our model. He does have success here in the past. But there's still that mental game that goes into it. And where he's priced at, if he's not finishing in the top 5, it's just not going to end up being a good week for your lineup. The price is up there. I think he comes in 7th in our model this week. I would personally rather pivot to Webb Simpson. Unfortunately, I think that will be a semi-popular play as well, but I still like that better. Next up, let's go Ben Martin, 15-1 fantasy draft, 6,500 on FanDuel, making him just an absolute steal. 8,800 on DraftKings. Interesting course history, at least the last 2 years here. Missed cut in a 10th place finish, so he's all over the place. I'm using 24 round data in terms of my statistics. Martin comes in 21st or better in this field in all 6 of our key stats. First at approach, second in proximity. 2 things that I really think are going to be big for this tournament. It's important to note that for a guy to be successful, even though he's first in approach over the last 24 rounds, he needs to stay first in approach over the next 4 rounds. So there is that caveat in there as well. I like the price, especially like I said on FanDuel. I think it's fair on DraftKings as well. I think the ownership should be reasonable. That's another plus. So I really like the idea of Ben Martin this week. Next up, let's go Bud Cauley, 15-7 fantasy draft, 7,900 FanDuel, 9,200 DraftKings. Always a fun slate when Bud Cauley's $9,200 on DraftKings. Last 4 trips, 10th place, 2 missed cuts, 3rd place finish. So, great tournament play. The results are either going to be really good or really bad. At 9,200, I do think you can deal with a top 10 finish. He's top 24 in all of our key stats, but no higher than 10. So there's a plus. The historical perspective shows that he can get it done here. It also shows that he's volatile. The statistical perspective shows that he can get it done here. I don't think that ownership is going to be super high on him. I know he was out there. I'm not a huge golf fanatic. I get the gist that he could be friendly with Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, this young core group of guys. So I think there could be, and I know that I've seen it at least one other place, that there's the best friend narrative that it's Thomas, then Cauley. But I'm not going to be putting him in my cash games. I do think there's some merit into using him in tournaments. Obviously, we'd much rather see a guy like this priced at like $7,600 because of the varying potential of outcomes. And that leads us to Chez Reavie, 14.9 fantasy draft, 7,500 FanDuel, 8,100 on DraftKings. And he's my favorite play this week. And that doesn't sound like it's the most confidence coming from me with how I just said that, and it's with good reason. Last 5 years, he's played here 4 times. The result? Missed cut, missed cut, missed cut, 58th. At 8,100, none of those results are worth his cost. None of those results are worth his cost if he was $1,000. However, he is top 11 in all of our key stats, including top 5 in 5 of 6 stats, including first in proximity over the last 24 rounds. My hope is that there will be a genuine disinterest in using him because of just a ridiculously poor course history. He played extremely well last week. He wasn't in the thick of things, but he was on the outside looking in. And that was a pretty stacked field. That was a very stacked field, for heaven's sake. It's a major. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it wasn't just one of the best fields you're going to see all year. There's a lot of risk. It's pretty evident that there's a lot of risk because of the fact that, he's missed 3 straight cuts here. But I think the reward there is very evident if his ownership is low because of these missed cuts and he continues to play at the pace that he is right now. He's going to make for a very solid play. All right, that'll wrap it up. Our 4 favorites, or 4 golfers that we've talked about: Kevin Kisner, Ben Martin, Bud Cauley, Chez Reavie. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Check us out at researchfantasy.com. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win, and join us again next week.